Hi there, Aries. I'm EllaAradia, and welcome to your January 2026 Psychic Tarot reading. This reading is for my Aries fire signs, where we'll be exploring the overall energies and themes for the month ahead, as well as taking a deeper dive into how these might be playing out for you in your life. This is a general reading, so it's going to resonate a little bit differently for all of you. What I do find, though, is there's always a shared theme that runs through the collective of all of you Aries signs. So take what feels aligned to you and just leave the rest. And before we jump in, a big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoy this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and then you can get notified when the next videos are up. So Aries, let's jump in. Just going to tune into the energies first. Always like to do that before I start pulling the cards, just to see what comes through. Feeling a lot of movement forwards. So I definitely feel that many of you have just recently transitioned from what feels like, a challenging chapter of your life, whether that's related to career or relationship. It's the energy of, I feel, self-preservation kicking in here, and, finally looking after yourself and your needs. Because I do feel whatever you are walking away from, it's something that I feel you felt like you had to walk away from. That's that energy of kind of self-preservation. And so, there's a lot of energy around moving forwards. What I am feeling here is a sense of what you're looking for hasn't come in yet. And I do feel like that's creating a little bit of doubt around, your choices, your path. Are you doing the right thing? But it really is, I feel at the moment, as much as possible to, stay in your own lane, because I do feel the universe is wanting you to invest in yourself at this time. Especially those of you that this relates to love and you found yourselves, recently single. It's often when the universe is wanting you to grow, to learn soul lessons and also embody those soul lessons. So with your overall energies, the Page of Pentacles. So that's earth energy. That's why I feel quite a strong kind of pull to this relating to the career area of your life. Some kind of new beginning. And definitely a new beginning with a view to growing and learning, because that's really what the Page of Pentacles is all about. So some of you might be learning a new skill right now, or you might be looking into, perhaps a slightly different kind of job or, career opportunity. What lies in your recent past, we have the Eight of Cups. That's that energy of, walking away, leaving something behind which, was no longer emotionally fulfilling for you. Because the Eight of Cups, it represents some kind of departure. And very often that's an emotional departure, but it can also represent either you or your person, moving on, leaving something behind, somebody leaving your life, or you leaving somebody else's life in this case. And it might be for some of you that, somebody has, kind of walked out of your life. Because when I feel into the relationship side of things, I feel like it's both of you. I feel like you've been dealing with someone that's been, I feel, giving a lot of mixed messages. And there may even be a third party energy here, because I just get the sense of somebody kind of, juggling between two people, and you being one of the two people here. And it may be that that person has chosen this other person, And I just keep hearing the words because they don't challenge them to grow. They don't challenge them emotionally. Whereas with you, it's a bit more real. Your current energies, we have the Queen of Wands. That's you. And that is all about you staying in your power here, Aries. And I feel using your magic moving forwards, you know, those energies of charisma and passion. Because the Queen of Wands, you know, when she enters a room, everybody turns around to stare because you just bring with you like this incredible magnetic energy. And I feel that for those of you, you know, whether it's you that's you know, walked away from this person, this relationship, or it's the person leaving your life, either way, the invitation for you right now is all about reclaiming your power. Because, you know, sometimes we can get a little bit fragmented in these connections, and we start to feel a little bit like, you know, the other person's calling all the shots, and our energy can get a little bit, yeah, fragmented and scattered. And there is always this very powerful process when a relationship breaks up, we go through this process of redefining ourselves. Who am I now without that person, without that relationship? And it's often a moment where, you know, we do go through this really powerful process of reclaiming our energy. And that's definitely, you know, where I feel that you're at right now, Aries. You know, you're right in this process. And it definitely is, I feel, about staying in your lane here, moving forwards. Your feelings towards your situation, strength. Those are those doubts I feel coming in. That's the struggle a little bit. You know, you've moved on, you're moving forwards, you're investing in yourself. And you're wanting love in your life, but you know, it's like you've not met that person yet. And those fears, those insecurities are just kind of starting to come up again. And I do feel like the universe is really urging you to, you know, really trust, you know, trust your decisions, your choices, and to continue, you know, looking after yourself, because whatever this was in the past here, it was something that was not fulfilling emotionally for you. You know, it may still be someone, you know, that you love and care about, but there's also something that was, you know, unhealthy or imbalanced in some way. Let's just look at your challenge here. Four of Swords. I feel like this is about honoring a healing process, because the Four of Swords is all about taking a step back, taking a pause, and just being in stillness to really allow you to regain your energy, to restore your energy for healing. And also, you know, what that allows is clarity, and for you to really get in touch with your true feelings and your wisdom. And it's not always comfortable, you know, going through a healing process. But I do feel that, you know, this is, yeah, there may be a little bit of a challenge here to, you know, face any fears or insecurities, perhaps around, you know, being solo for a while. You know, that often brings up a lot of stuff for most people. But the universe, I feel, is, you know, really urging you to do this at this time. With your hidden influence, so the hidden influence is, you know, very often something that's impacting your situation that you may not be aware of, you may not be seeing. And in this case, it's the Five of Swords, which is often a card of conflict, and sometimes that can be a conflict inside of yourself, or it can be a conflict, you know, around you. Because for those of you that this relates to career, I feel that conflict. And, you know, it may have been in the workplace. There may be people that you didn't see eye to eye to, making it feel kind of uncomfortable for you to be there, feeling unappreciated, undervalued in some way. There may have been perhaps a promotion that more than one person was going for in the workplace. And there's this energy of conflict. And the more I look at it, the more I feel that that's meant to be there, because I feel like it's redirecting you, Aries. And whatever has gone down, whatever disagreements, whatever conflicts, you know, whatever that is, I feel like it's moved you in a different direction because you're meant to go in a different direction. This is also a card of, you know, cutting ties with what no longer serves you, you know, people, places, situations which feel unhealthy. And sometimes, you know, Five of Swords is often these kind of conflicts where, you know, there is this need to be right, you know, those kind of ego-driven battles. And sometimes just simply moving on is more powerful than, you know, the need to be right. Just standing in your truth. Let's just get your advice from the universe. The Two of Cups. Because for some of you, this Five of Swords, I feel, is where you might be feeling a little bit conflicted about whoever this is that has either left your life or you've moved on from them. But with the Two of Cups here, this is the universe just reminding you of what a healthy connection is really like, because the Two of Cups is all about, you know, mutual deep bonds and these very, you know, reciprocal energies, you know, balanced giving and receiving, deep bonds, soulmate energy. And I feel like this is just a really gentle reminder to stay true to what you want here. Even if it's a little bit challenging, even if there's a bit of a healing process going on from this last person. But just remember that, you know, that there was something that wasn't right about that connection, because I keep seeing like a third party energy. Like that's not going to resonate for all of you, but for some of you, I just get the sense of somebody not being able to step up to the love that you were giving, not being able to step up to that deeper commitment with you. And choosing someone, like I said before, that doesn't challenge them in that way, doesn't challenge them to be vulnerable. You know, they don't have to be seen. Nothing is really expected from them. They don't have to grow. And that sometimes can be, you know, one reason why, you know, some people walk away from love. But in the end, with that person, I just feel like they're going to keep repeating patterns, because on a much deeper level, they do want love, but they're just not ready for it. And, you know, they might still have some of these patterns that need to keep on playing out for a little bit longer. And, you know, that's not your job. You know, that's their thing that they have to heal here. And with the Two of Cups, you know, this is about staying true to what you really want. And in terms of career, you know, the Two of Cups, it's soulmate energy. And like I said at the beginning, it can represent, you know, moving into life purpose, you know, doing something where, you know, your heart's really in that. And a gentle reminder also to just keep on trusting your heart, trusting your dream, and, you know, keep moving forwards to, you know, what really inspires you. Because like I said, mid to end January, I do see, you know, your Two of Cups coming in for you. And like I said at the beginning, the theme is the same, but it can be showing up in, you know, different areas of your life, in slightly different ways, different, you know, intensities. And the lesson here is really not about settling for less and staying true to, you know, what you want and what you really deserve here moving forwards. So what lies in your outcome is King of Swords. And this is, I feel, about the wisdom gained from all of this and taking control of your life, being in, you know, leading yourself forwards, being in your power in that way, and really moving forwards, embodying, you know, the wisdom that has been learnt, you know, from these lessons, because I do feel like it's been, you know, quite a challenging time for you. But really, it is about staying in your lane and just trusting your decisions and your choices, because it will lead you, you know, ultimately to what you really want. So I'm going to leave that there, Aries. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, and I wish you a great month ahead.